My name is Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. I was born on October 7th, 1952, in Leningrad, a city scarred by war, yet unbroken. A city that had learned to live under the shadow of siege, where every breath was a victory, every day a struggle for survival. That city shaped me. It taught me that strength is not given, it is earned, and that sometimes silence can be louder than words. My parents were ordinary people. My father, a war veteran, carried the weight of the front lines in his eyes. My mother, a quiet woman, survived famine and fear with nothing but faith. They taught me resilience, not through words, but through endurance. We lived modestly, no luxury, no abundance, just the steady rhythm of work, and the belief that dignity was worth more than comfort. In that small apartment surrounded by peeling paint and cold winters, I learned to fight, not with fists, but with determination. I was not born powerful. I was small, restless, often underestimated. But every time life tried to push me down, something inside whispered, "Stand up again." At school, I discovered judo, a discipline that would shape my character as much as my body. In judo, you don't fight to destroy your opponent. You fight to master yourself. It taught me balance, control, respect, and patience. Values that would follow me into every battle ahead. After university, I joined the KGB, the shield of the Soviet Union. I entered a world few ever see, a world of secrets, whispers, and shadows. I learned that knowledge is power, and that power, when uncontrolled, can destroy. In Dresden, I served far from home. The Berlin Wall still stood, a symbol of division, of two worlds locked in silent war. We were soldiers without uniforms, warriors without glory. We didn't seek medals, only information, only stability. Then came 1991, the collapse of the Soviet Union. In one moment, everything we had built, everything we believed in, was gone. The flag came down, the anthem fell silent, and millions stood lost, uncertain, betrayed by history itself. I remember looking at that moment not with anger, but with clarity. Empires fall, but nations endure. If something great is lost, it can be rebuilt. That was my conviction. That was my mission. I left the KGB. I walked away from the shadows and into politics. In St. Petersburg, under Anatoly Sobchak, I learned what real leadership means: responsibility, loyalty, and trust. I was no longer an agent in the dark. I was a servant of the people. Yet politics has its own kind of battlefield. It's a place where words wound deeper than bullets, and where allies can vanish faster than enemies. But I endured. Because I had learned one simple truth: you cannot control the storm. 1996, I moved to Moscow. The capital was restless, uncertain. Russia was struggling. Crime, poverty, corruption, instability. Many had lost faith that this country could ever rise again. But I had not. And neither had the people. Step by step, I earned trust. I didn't ask for it. I worked for it. In 1998, I became director of the FSB, and a year later, Prime Minister of Russia. And then, history turned. 31st, 1999. As the world welcomed a new millennium, Boris Yeltsin stepped down, and at midnight I became the acting president of the Russian Federation. In that moment, I stood not as a politician, but as a man carrying the weight of a wounded nation. Russia was in chaos, terror, poverty, doubt. I looked at my people and saw not despair, but potential. A spark waiting to ignite. The years that followed were years of rebuilding. Order, stability, strength. We paid our debts, we raised wages. We reminded the world, Russia was back. But success never comes without enemies. To rebuild a nation, you must confront those who profit from its weakness. And that confrontation is never peaceful. In 2014, the Crimea crisis changed everything. West saw aggression. We saw reunion, a return of what was ours. Sanctions came, isolation followed. But Russia did not bow. Because a true nation stands tall even when it stands alone. Over the years, I have been called many things: strong, cold, ruthless. But strength is often misunderstood. To lead, you must carry not only power, but responsibility. The weight of every citizen's hope, every soldier's sacrifice, every mother's fear. Power is not about domination, it's about endurance. It's about standing firm when the ground beneath you trembles. My life has not been easy, nor has my country's. But both were built on struggle, and struggle breeds resilience. I have been a husband, a father, a soldier, a statesman. But above all, I have been, and always will be, a son of Russia. When I look back, I see not just a path of power, but a path of destiny. From a cold Leningrad courtyard to the halls of the Kremlin, one truth remains. If you fight, you might win. If you don't, you've already lost. I am Vladimir Putin, and this is my story. This is the path to power.